Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening, Miss Adebimpe. Good evening, everyone. Please, can you confirm you can hear me?
Hi, I'm not sure
Good evening, we
who
can
is
hear
saying
you.
hello, but is that Temilolua?
Yes, this is Temilolua.
Hi, Temilolua. Good evening. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. We are glad to have you join us as our special guest of honor. Really, we are. We are really glad to have you. Thank you so much for
you guys are even
honoring
like
our Thank you so much for honoring our invite. We expect more of our community members to join in, and more people from our online platforms, right? Some people have requested to join us here, but I think they have issues with their network. So we have some people in the waiting room, they have issues joining. Can I ask that we give some people have issues with their network, so they keep joining.
Hello, everyone,
and dropping off.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome. I'm not sure who is saying hello,
Yes.
but I'm just saying.
So okay, we have more people here. Yeah, welcome. All right, everyone, you're welcome to this month's knowledge sharing session. As is our custom at Career Life Nigeria, we hold a mentoring session every month to address trends in the industries and any issues community members might be having, because as our mission statement is to help professionals achieve measurable success in their careers, we hold some programs to ensure that we actually stay by our mission statement. And this is one of the programs we hold, our monthly knowledge sharing sessions. So we believe as we progress, more people would join in, because we do not want to keep we don't want to keep people waiting more than necessary, because this is a weekend and some people will still want to relax before before the new week commences, right? So this video is being live streamed, so anyone who misses the beginning part can always watch the replay. And once again, we are grateful to you honor that invite, Mrs. Popola Adebimpe. Thank you very much. I'm going to hand over now to Elizabeth to introduce you properly so that we can get started. Thank you so much.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Elizabeth, and I'll be introducing our speaker, Mrs. Popowe.
Hi, Elizabeth. Nice to have you here.
Okay. Mrs. Popowe is an efficient people's manager. Cutting across all levels, she has proven expertise in different capacity across diverse industry. She's a strategic and team-oriented human resource professional and is determined to improve employee management, career growth, management system with a goal, attaining recognizable success and providing lifetime value to the organization of her choice. Also, she's proactive. She's also a cultural and sensitive person, dependable, and has a high achieving and unarguable competencies in human resource. She also functions as HRS, recruitment selection, people and performance management, HR advisory and auditing, onboard and exit management, and employee management and initiative, business process and management, legal competencies. She has also received various awards and recognition in her workplace and also on LinkedIn. You can follow her on LinkedIn, like her. She also has She is also part of the 30 top women leading in HR and third position globally at human resource auditing at her former place of work. So I encourage everybody after this program to follow and like her. Thank you. Handing over to Mrs. Popowe to start her class. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Can everyone hear me? I just want to be sure that you can hear me. If you just want to drop in the comment section that you can hear me.
Hello, everyone. So while we expect our facilitator back, okay, yeah, she's here with us. Thank you.
Can you hear me? I got disconnected.
You're welcome, Ma. You have the floor.
Okay, so you can all hear me, right? Can you all hear me? I just want to be sure that you guys can hear me. All right, Temiloluwa, can you hear me? Okay, Elizabeth can hear me. Fumi, can you hear me? Taiwo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, ma'am. Loud and clear.
I can hear you. I can hear you too.
All right. Thank you very much. So good evening, everyone, once again. And thank you for that introduction, Elizabeth. And thank you to Yewande for this opportunity. And I wanted to make this session as interactive as possible. I would like us to have, I'm very big on collaborating. So it's very important that we both are aligned and we both understand the purpose of this session. So I would like for you to, if you have any questions or if you have any points, I would appreciate if you can just drop a message, and I would be more than happy, to give you the floor just to, corroborate whatever I'm saying, or you have a question for something you want me to answer along the line. But without further ado, I wanted to just briefly just give you guys a little background about me. The topic we are working with today is career transition. And when Yewande reached out to me, and Temiloluwa, who has been an incredible person, I knew for a fact that this is something I wanted to share. Something I'm also big on is passing it forward. And what does that mean? So when I learn new things or when I have people help me on certain things, I make sure to be conscious about passing it forward, simply saying that it doesn't have to stay with me. The benefit of the information that I've gotten or the help that I've gotten along my career path does not have to sit with just me alone. Being able to help as many people as possible and being able to guide them, because I also have people to guide me, considering where I was coming from. So that's something that I'm very big on. And I'm hoping that by the end of this session, either anyone on this platform will have been able to take one or two things away from this conversation. And like I said, I wanted to just give a very brief background about me. I don't know if any of you have gone to my LinkedIn profile to check me out, but I'm very sure if you scroll through LinkedIn, if you look at the topmost page, you would see Adebimpe Popola, HR generalist, right? However, when you then start to scroll down, what you would see would be my work history. Then you would see my education history. And I can imagine a lot of people asking questions. So I studied English in OAU, then I went on to study law in the UK, then I went to do my master's in international trade law. And you're probably wondering like, she's a lawyer. How did she venture into HR? As a matter of fact, the only human resource qualification that I ever had was the CIPD certification course, which is equivalent to, the CIPM in Nigeria, which is basically Chartered Institute of Personnel Development. And that's the only HR certification that I've heard, or any sort of HR education that I've heard, outside of, the regular learning, learning on the job, taking some professional courses. Outside of that, that's the only major HR educational training that I've had. And a lot of people ask me like, why HR? How did you get into HR? And it's very simple. And just before I get into my presentation, I wanted to give you an understanding that I didn't have it figured out, to be honest with you. And this moment right here comes full circle for me, because when I decided this was what I wanted to do and I came back to Nigeria, the first person I spoke to was Yewande Chinodu, because she was somebody that I always saw on LinkedIn at the time. And I remember reaching out to her, and, it took off from there. And I've always been a people person, talking about who I am as a person, right? I've always been a people person. I'm that friend that all my other friends would always want to come around. I always wanted to make sure that everybody was good. I always liked to solve people's problem. And when I was studying in the UK, when I was taking my undergraduate education in law, I knew for a fact that I didn't want to be a lawyer. I didn't want to practice because, the legal system in Nigeria and all of those stories that we hear all the time. I knew that I didn't want to be going to court every day. I didn't want to be signing agreements every day. But I also didn't know what I wanted to do. But I did know that a part of me enjoyed managing people, taking care of people. And I remember having a conversation with my supervisor at the time, God bless his soul. And I said to him, see, even though I enjoy law, I enjoy what I'm doing, this is not something I wanted to do long term. And he said to me, he said that I should sit down, I sat in his office and he started asking me a lot of questions and was like, what are your interests? And, I started telling him, I love making people happy. I like the feeling. At the time, I was working as an healthcare assistant as a student. So I used to come in contact with a lot of people, and I always liked the fulfillment I felt every time I went into somebody's house to take care of them. Even the feedback from my colleagues was like, oh, Ade is a people person. Clients used to say that, oh, they wanted Ade to come with the team, to come and see them. And I told him, I said, I enjoy managing people. I enjoy the satisfaction that I get when I'm able to help somebody to solve problems. These are not even professional problems, guys. These are like personal problems, just random things that my friends tell me. And I'm like, what about if you do it this way? What about if you put this process in place? Maybe this would help you to get it better. And I remember my supervisor asking me and said, have you ever heard the term human resource? And I said, no. And he said, it's a profession. I said, human resource. He said, yes. He said, and we, it went online, we Googled human resource, and I saw a lot of things pop up. And he said, you should go and read about this. And he goes, in fact, you can decide to take another degree. But I was like, no, I'm not taking any other degree. I've been studying for so long. I said, but you know what, just go and read through. And I went back to my hostel and I started to do my own research, reading up on human resource. What is human resource? Is the management of people, helping business? I was like, okay, this is more like it, but in a professional way. And this is something that I want to do. And that was how I found out about CIPD, And I remember traveled for the open day, met a lot of people, asked a lot of questions. And that was the day that I had the conviction that I wanted to be a human resource professional. And I took the certification. As a matter of fact, I also had to come back to Nigeria for law school. Came back to Nigeria, went to law school. And after law school, I knew that I also wanted to be equipped because there is also this part of HR that has to do with law, right? So we have the labor law, they call it employment law in some places. So they both go hand in hand, right? So I knew that I also needed that academic experience. So I knew that I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a part of the legal profession so that I have a better understanding of the law, so that when I kickstart this career, I would be able to merge both of these together. And I finished law school in 2019. And the first person that I started to do my research before rounding up law school, and I can't remember how I got you on this contact. And I remember meeting up with her at a restaurant, and we talked about it. We talked about venturing, and I realized that she also studied engineering in school, and now she's an human resource person. I was like, okay, this is the person that I actually need to talk to and to follow. And you were very helpful. She was such a great help and started to guide me. First off, I needed to rework my CV to fit the Nigerian market, to fit human resource. I needed to do internships. I needed to take on mentorship classes. I needed to volunteer. And she kept telling me all of these things that I needed to do. And I promise you, I went in total on all those things. And here we are today, being an HR generalist. So even though I've not been in this profession for 10 years, I've not been here in 15 years, the little period that I've been doing this, I want to reassure you that it has been the best decision that I've ever made. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that, oh, it's been bed of roses. Absolutely not. There are days where I question my decision, like, do I really want to do this career? But something has been consistent. It was something that I was passionate about. So first key thing is passion for me, right? There's something that my former boss used to say, that passion is the driving force behind any successful business. So you cannot do a business that you don't believe in. You would fail. You might start off good, people might know you, but without that passion, because those days where money is not coming, it is your passion that would keep you going, right? Same thing with the profession that we are all into today. If you're not passionate about the profession that you're in, the days where you're stuck in traffic for 4 hours, you want to give up, right? But your passion is like, this is something I really enjoy doing. And you would always find time, find peace around it, and that would keep you going. So this conversation is going to be about how my experiences so far, how I transitioned. I've created some very easy, simple slides that I will be running you guys through. And please feel free to stop me once again. And before I share my screen, I just wanted to check in with everyone again that you can hear me. And if you have any questions, please ask me now before we proceed. So can you all hear me? Can you all still hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you so much. Yes, we can.
Great. So I'm going to be sharing my screen now. Do let me know when you can see my screen. Can you all see my screen? Can you all see my screen? Hello?
Yes.
Great. So I want to present in a present mode. Great. So here we have it. Here we have it. Career transitioning, right? Roadmaps on how to switch your career and increase your earning power. So you will see the brief that I put here. I said transitioning your career can be liberating, provide new challenges, and increase your earning potential. But how do you do it? So it is not just about saying that I want to switch career. Oh, I don't like what I'm doing anymore. I want to move into something else. There are a lot of nuances, when it comes to this. There are a lot of factors that you all need to consider. And I will try my best in this class to educate you, sharing my life experiences. So as I'm reading through the slides, I would be relating it into how I was able to do it. And also, to be fair with you, I am not the first and I would not be the last person to switch my career. Yewande is a big example. She's an engineer, I think. And look at her today, blowing the trails in this HR space. I'm sure if you go on LinkedIn, you will see a lot of people. As a matter of fact, I say to people that HR is one of the easiest professions to cross over, because the core of what you need are transferable skills, and they are very behavioral. The skills are very behavioral as opposed to technical. You can learn the technicalities of HR, I promise you. However, the behavioral, you can also take in the behavioral skills from your other companies. For example, there are certain skills that are universal across board. So great communication, being human, regardless of the job that you do. Even if you're an engineer, even if you fly a plane, you have to be human, right? Because you will constantly meet people every day. So it is one of the careers that you can transition to. So even on this call, if you don't want to transition into HR, if it is some other things you want to, some other professions you want to transition to, there are certain cumulative and uniform skills that every person in the professional space, there are certain things that you need. Even accountants that all they do is numbers, they still require a certain level of behavioral human skills to be able to successfully do that job. So what we'll be doing on this call is to define what those roadmaps are and how that can help you. These are not everything. I bet you that if you go on Google and you type in career transition, you will see thousands and thousands of materials to read. But I think what I've been able to do here is to put the basics and just for you to have that first stage clarity. And I hope this helps everyone. Now, the first thing you can see on my screen is identifying your motivators. When I started talking initially, I told you, I said, when I met with my supervisor back in the day and he asked me, what do you enjoy doing? He did not ask me, he said, his question was not, why do you want to do this? It was, what did you enjoy doing? Those speaks to what are those things that motivate you personally. So you see that I put here the personal growth. If you're, can you help me with admitting people so that it does not distract me? Thank you very much. If you're motivated by personal growth, focus on developing skills in new or your emerging field. Now, if you're going from a banker to a pilot, I want to believe that being a pilot is probably something that you've always been passionate about. It could be that there is no money. Maybe you couldn't afford the money that you needed to take on that at the time, but it's at your back burner. It's constantly something you're thinking about. You cannot just wake up one day and say, today I'm going to resign and I'm going to go to Muritala Mohammed Airport and tell them and say, I want to start flying a plane. No, it doesn't work that way. What you need to do, what I did, was to find out in that field that I was going to, what are those skills that are required? So in human resource, right, I knew that I had to be a people person. I knew that I had to have great communication skills. I knew that and see, these things are things that we can Google online, guys. So maybe a better way to put it is, what are those skills
I'd like to say here that any
Hi, good evening, everyone. Am I the only one that can't hear anything? Okay, so I'm not the only one. I'm guessing there's a network issue happening, and I think Timmy is out as well as Bingley. So I'll just try to fill up the space, pending when she's back. I didn't plan to fill up the space anyway, but like it is what it is. So in the meantime, can you all hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so in the meantime, Ryan, let's gather expectation so that when Trini comes back, when Bigbe comes back, she's able to write down some of the things that people have said they expect, and then she can ensure that she touches it, right? So can we write down our expectations? When you saw career transitioning as a topic, what were the things you were expecting to gain? Whether you are thinking of, whether you're in the process, whether you're even struggling with it, right? What are some of the things? Let's use the chat box. Okay, Bimpe is back.
Sorry, guys. I really went wrong with my network. It's been good, and all of a sudden it went off. I've actually tried. I'm using my phone now, and I think what I can do is I'm trying to make my to connect to my laptop again, but I will just continue with my phone, and I would share the material with you in case I'm not able to present it anymore on the bigger screen. So apologies again, guys. So like I was saying, I was talking about personal growth, right? So if you're motivated by personal growth, you will need to focus on developing skills in the new field you're venturing into, or in the emerging field that you want to get to. So I think it's just doing research. You cannot switch like this at a tap. You need to put in the work, right? You need to understand what is applicable there. If you're a lawyer, you cannot take all of your legalese experience into a banking field or into an HR space. You would need to understand what is applicable there. You will need to know. And how do you do this? It's research, guys. It's taking professional courses. Whatever you're required to do to get there, you will see a lot of resources. Not even professional. You don't even have to start with the top professional courses. Go on Udemy, Google, type in keywords, human resource management. I bet you will see thousands and thousands and thousands of resources and material. Secondly, in identifying your motivator, another thing that you should also look at is you need to also look at the fields that offer flexibility, that offer remote work, or that offers, part-time opportunities. What do I mean by this? If you want to, so let's say you want to venture. So using myself as an example again, when I wanted to venture into HR, I knew that I was not just going to up and jump into that profession. What I did was to look for firms that offer internship programs, that offer volunteering programs. So you will see me my early days on LinkedIn was me messaging every HR professional that comes across on my timeline. And I have all of those people till date as my backends. And even though most of them will say, oh, I don't have this opportunity directly, they would refer me or they would guide me. My first ever HR career program that I attended was with somebody called Mr. Shegun Akiode. It was an HR masterclass, and I went there just to go and hear it, and it was even free. I don't think it was free. I think I must have won something. Maybe we were told to write a letter or to write something on why we are deserving of to be a part of that class. And you know what I did? I went online, put together my write-up, and I sent it, and I got a response to say I've been elected to be a part of the class. So you need to not just I know sometimes it might feel like, oh, I've been doing this for 6 years. Why should I go back and start as an intern? No, you are looking at the goal, right? You need to have foresight. It's not about now, it's about your next 5-10 years in that new industry. So a sacrifice of doing an internship of 6 months or even a year at most, it should be something that you really want to sacrifice about. Remember what I said, passion, right? So if you're doing it for passion, it means that you will go above and beyond to achieve that thing that you're passionate about. But if it's something that you just want to do because, oh, people are making money from it nowadays, let me to join. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. Last year, or since COVID happened, right, we've seen a lot of tech opportunities out there. Everybody's doing project management, Scrum Master, this, that. And, even a lot of my friends were like, that is the next certification I want to do. But I know what I want for myself. I know how I've planned out my career for myself. And I knew that going into those projects, even though I also knew people that did it for 6 months and got the jobs and they're making good money, I knew that was not what I wanted at the time, career-wise. So I needed to be focused. So I knew that what I wanted to do back in the day when I first started my career was learn as much as I can. So I kept messaging every HR professional that I knew online. I would say, Yewande, please, do you know this person? Can you refer me to this person? I will speak to somebody called Jumoke. I said, Jumoke, please, can you connect me with this person? And they were very open to helping me because I was chasing them. So that is another thing you need to identify as part of your motivators. And the third thing is passion. I already talked on passion, right? You cannot do a job just because you want to do a job. And if you're on this call and you're a fresh graduate going into the professional space, or even if you've been doing this profession for a while and you're looking to switch, when you send applications to human resource, to recruiters, you need to be creative in a way where you don't sell yourself short or you don't look desperate. I get a lot of CV as a recruiter where I see people say, I'm happy to do any work. I'm wondering, what do you mean you're happy to do any work? You cannot do just any work. I'm sure there's something you're good at. Build on that thing you're good at. Even if you don't fit for that particular role, I would keep your CV in my database, pending when I have an opportunity. And if I think your CV is good enough, I would be more than happy to reach out to you and give you a call. So again, passion. Passion is not doing just any work. Passion is doing a particular job that you're great at. Passion is doing a particular thing that you would excel at. If they wake you up from your sleep and they ask you something on that, you would answer them without stammering. So if you're able, I believe that if you're able to base your motivators on these three things, personal growth, looking for fields that offer you these opportunities, and passion, I think that would be one of the greatest things that you would do for yourself in achieving your dream of career transitioning. Guys, at this stage, I would like to ask, does anybody have any questions for me? Are you guys benefiting anything from this? Please let me know. Hello, everyone. Can you still hear me?
Hello, yes, you're making sense. You're really making sense. Thank you.
Yes, we can.
Thank you very much. So now, moving on to my next slide. What I have in my slide is determining your strengths, and transferable skills. I think I touched on this earlier when I started talking, but let us key into. So I had 3 bullet points, and the first thing is skills assessment. Let me explain something to you. Again, I would always go back to that conversation with my supervisor, where the first thing he asked me was, what are the things that you like doing? The things I like doing are my strengths. And one thing was that I love talking to people. I love managing people. I love preferring solutions. So if I want to pull that inside my CV, I would say, if I'm doing a skills assessment for myself, I would say, Adebimpe can manage people. That is people management. Adebimpe loves solving problems. That is problem-solving skills. Adebimpe loves talking to people. That is great, excellent communicator. Adebimpe loves working on task and delivering on time. That is time management. Those are the strengths. Those are my strengths. Then my next question is, what are the skills that are required in this job that I'm interested in? I would also list all of those things out. As an accountant, you must be analytical, right? You must be able to, your reporting skills must be top-notch. So it means that you need to be familiar with a lot of CRM tools, Excel sheets, ERP softwares, accounting softwares, SAP, whatever software that you use in calculating or putting together money. As an accountant, you need to have these skills. In HR, there are loads of skills that are required. Outside of people, the key skills for an human resource person is people management. You must also be a strategic thinker. Because remember, as an HR person, I'm making businesses to solve problems using people. So if a business says that they need a sales manager, that is not a country, they just need to tell HR. Then HR will now decide on, okay, what will be the job of this person? What are the skills that we are looking for from this person? Which diverse place are we trying to get this person from? What are we trying to achieve? How many years of experience do we need? Do we need more than one person? I need to make sure that I understand those skills and I have transferable skills that I can take into this new field. Again, if you've listened to everything I've said, you will see that I've merged the skills assessment with industry research as well. So as I'm thinking about the skills that I have, I need to merge it to the industry that I'm going into, and I need to understand the skills that are required in that industry. And I need to acquire those skills before I go into that industry. Even if I don't acquire all of it, I need to understand the basics. I call those basics academic educational experiences. I've seen people that join organizations with just theoretical experience because they understand the basics of that profession. And that is exactly what we are trained for in universities. So if you're moving into a whole new industry, you need to do research about the skills that are applicable in that industry. And it's either you have it or you learn it. So if you know that these are things that are new to me, I need to go and learn it. So when people were saying they wanted to venture into project management, be a project manager, you need to go and take the certification course on PMP. You need to do a lot of research. You need to do a lot of skills workshops for you to come and say that, oh, now I think I am capable, I am ready to take on this role as a beginner. So what I put in this chart in my presentation, I did a split in terms of skills and the requirements that you need. So I put in here that as a social media marketing person, You cannot, if you've been doing, let's take back to banking. If you've been a banker for the longest time and you think that you want to become a social media manager, is there anybody on this call that can tell us skills that you would require to become a social media manager? I would like somebody to tell me what skills do you think that somebody venturing into social media marketing needs? Anybody want to help us? That baby can.
I would like to mention. Hello.
Yeah, go on, please.
Okay, I think one of the required skill is the communication skill.
Absolutely.
The person must have an excellent communication skill, and then the problem-solving skill.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yes.
If you want to venture into social media marketing, you need both soft skills and technical skills.
Yes.
Because it means that you have to create flyers. You have to create flyers that are very catchy. So you might need to go and learn about how to use Canvas, right? You might need to go and learn how to edit and create videos, right? You might need to go and learn customer management skills because you're communicating to people. When they see those ads, they want to DM and say that, oh, I want to inquire about these services. You must know how to communicate with them. But I cannot just wake up one day and say, I'm no longer doing this HR again. No, I want to become a social media manager. Yes, creativity. Thank you, Bayobami. You have to be creative. So if you're not a creative person naturally, you need to learn it. If you want to become a data analyst, you need to take a lot of data analytical courses online. You need to be familiar with Power BI. You need to be familiar with using Excel, advanced Excel. You need to be familiar about how to crunch data, how to turn a huge numbers of data into maybe a 1-pager or 2-pagers, because you will be helping businesses to translate their data into easy information that they can know. But I cannot just come as HR and say, oh, tomorrow somebody told me that there's an opportunity as a data analyst and they'll be paying me 3 million. Now recommend me. Even if you recommend me and I go on Google and go and formulate a CV to fit that role, and I'm able to talk my way and I get that job, guys, I would fail woefully because I don't have the required skills or educational experience. Another thing that you would need in career transitioning is networking. Guys, this is the most important thing. I can tell you for a fact, on a scale of 1 to 100, that this worked for me exceptionally. I am who I am today because of the amount of people that has helped me. And I was only able to do this while networking. Guys, you can network anyway. As we are on this, we are networking. After this, I'm going to connect with most of you on LinkedIn. That is networking. But you will not just network randomly, Abby. First things first, you need to identify your network. And guys, you don't have to start from the top. It's not. I've heard people say something like, I would like to meet with the CEO of this company to pitch myself to him. And my question is, why the CEO? The CEO probably does not have time. He's probably busy managing businesses. Have you considered the HR of that company? Have you considered the employees of that company? Can you message them on LinkedIn and say, oh, I'm interested in joining your field. Do you think there's an opportunity here? And you will be surprised. Networking is important. Going for industry events. The Big Four organizations, they host a lot of career programs across Nigeria. That is, you can go there. Guys, when they say that they are doing food festival, all of us will run there. They are doing somebody is hosting a thrift workshop or something where people are selling, everybody's selling clothes, you're selling shoes and bags. All of us are fighting to enter Uber and go there. But when it comes to our professional life, do we keep that same energy? So if you're on this call and somebody sends you a link and says, oh, Olushola, I remember that you said that you are interested in being a pilot. I saw this pilot career fair that is holding next month. I think you should go there. What will you say, Olushola? I beg, I cannot go, Jare. The place is too far. It means you're not passionate about it. I cannot tell you the amount of event I went for, the amount of classes that I paid for just to meet certain people. And I still do it till now. So you need to identify your network. Don't just identify those networks. You make connections. Offer yourself up for internship. Offer yourself up for volunteering opportunities. Ask for informal chats. I got one of the best written internship letter from a lady 2 weeks ago. And guys, I have sent a CV and a cover letter to 6 of my HR colleagues because of the way she wrote. That level of confidence, she studied microbiology, guys, microbiology, but she wants to be an HR. I was incredibly impressed with her letter. She connected with me on LinkedIn, even though I didn't have an opportunity currently. I said, we would keep you in our database, but I referred her to almost 6 of my networks. And lastly, guys, when it comes to networking, it's not just about networking, it's not just about making those connections, If you make those connections and you don't follow up, what happens? You are just fetching water inside the basket. You need to follow up. I'm not saying pursue, I'm not saying chase. In fact, chase, but you need to be diplomatic about it. Be persistent. Send thank you notes to the people that you connect. You send a LinkedIn request to somebody and they accept you. Hello, Miss Ade. Thank you so much for connecting with you. I have gone through your profile and I'm amazed about the things that you've done, and I would love to be a part of your community. If I see somebody write that kind of thing to me, I would love to connect with them and I would respond to them. Don't just connect and say hello and keep it moving and you're expecting me to respond. I have a lot of things on my plate, and not just me, a lot of the people that we are connecting with. When I find an industry that is interesting to me, I go to look for their HR or a head of business in that company, and I send them a message. I go on their website and I read through what they are doing, and I write something and I just send it to them. Or I even comment on their, I let them know that, I'm chasing you people, and on their main screen, I will write something, or on their main post, I would respond and write something there. Because I love that industry and I'm trying to pave my way into that industry. So I'm doing it gradually so that when I send that email to say that I want to work with you, I can reference all the things that company has been doing. And when they ask me, how did you know? Oh, I follow you on Instagram. I follow you on LinkedIn. I see the amazing work that you do. There's no way they will not be impressed with me. They might not give me the job, but I'm sure they would want to have a first and second conversation with me. Hello, everyone. Can you all still hear me? Am I still making sense to you? Please let me know.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Great.
Yes, you are.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, guys. So, guys, now that we've talked about what will motivate you, right? We've talked about the skills that you need. We've talked about determining your strengths and the transferable skills. We've talked about networking. Now, see, again, like I said when I started, I said I would not come here and give you people who aspire to Maguire. There would always be challenges. So let's talk about it. When you're transitioning, there's also the risk and reward assessment. You need to do it. You need to do it because on rare cases, would you find where people transition and they settle in financially from where they were coming from? on very rare cases. I'm not saying it will not happen, but I'm saying that if you're really transitioning from one career, from opposite careers, there are certain challenges. And I've put 3 together here. Number 1 is the financial challenge. Guys, again, remember what I said, passion. I saw a tweet on Twitter one day. Somebody said that as an entrepreneur, everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. But the day you know that you are you are destined to be an entrepreneur are the days where you don't make money or you don't make sales. What you do on those days would determine if this is truly the career path that you want to pursue. Financial challenges. Guys, when I studied law and I finished law school, I could get jobs even as a fresh graduate at the time, maybe 150, maybe 200,000. Because I have the background already. I've been called to the Nigerian bar. I understand the practices. Maybe not all the practices, but I have a very in-depth understanding of how the legal system works. And I knew that if I was going to an organization, I would not be asking for anything less than 150, 200 as a fresh graduate at the time. But I also knew that was not what I wanted to do. So when I was transitioning into HR, I was looking for internship opportunities. I was sending out mails for unpaid because I was not even getting called for normal internship safe. So I had to put it at the top that application for an unpaid internship. So I was prepared to not get paid. And that meant that I needed to manage the little money that I had. Fortunately, when I joined the organization that I was interning for, they were paying me a stipend of 40,000 naira. And I was grateful for it, even though they didn't have to. Because now as an HR person, I know that organizations do their workforce planning. So they've already calculated how much they want to spend on salaries in that year. They did not include me. So I'm just coming from nowhere. But they were still able to squeeze out that money. Same thing with you guys. If you're crossing from banking to social media manager, my brothers and sisters, you will do a lot of freelance work. You will do a lot of free jobs just to prove yourself. There is also the experience gap as well. Because what happens is that employers would not be confident, to hire you because they know that you don't have any experience in these things. So which is why I said you need to consider volunteering, freelancing, taking internships to be able to gain and garner those experiences. Trust me, guys, it would always count for you in the long run. I promise you. See, we've had stories of people, you go from intern to becoming a graduate trainee to becoming a full-time employer. You go from volunteering for somebody to say, and when you are doing this internship, you will give it your 1,000%, guys. Because you know what? We are all proving a point. You see that sleepless night, we will do it. That extra reading, we will do it. That extra work that does not pertain to my department, we will take it. Why? We are making our mark. So that when somebody says that they want to resign or they are moving to another company, they can say, okay, somebody else can take that person's position. And you that came in as an intern or that came in as a volunteer, you can step in. So guys, please, we need to manage expectations. Don't say, because they say there is money in social media marketing. Oh yeah, I am going there. My first job like this, if they don't pay me 200,000, they should get out. No, it doesn't work that way. So we need to be realistic with ourselves. And another challenge is you will see rejections and setbacks. You will see the job where you say you get experience. Sorry, I'm speaking PG because I think I need to break it down. Jobs that you have experiences in, you're not even getting the job. Abi? not to talk about the one that you are transitioning into. But do you know what will keep you going? Being resilient. I applied to this company. They sent me rejection mail. I will reply back and thank them for that rejection mail, but I will not put it there and say, in case an opportunity opens up, I hope you can reference me once again. Which is why you cannot give up on that networking that we talked about. And we've heard stories of people say they've applied to 1,000 jobs before they got one job. Guys, it is true. It is real. I applied to a lot. In fact, I was applying to Big Fours when I first started this HR thing. ExxonMobil, PwC, KPMG, Microsoft. Guys, they did not take me. Look at me today. I'm working for Microsoft as an HR service delivery specialist. I didn't lose focus. I did not give up. I was applying. Were there days where I said, I'm not doing again? Absolutely. But I also knew that I needed to build a career in this because that is what I'm passionate about. So I continued my networking. And your networking cannot stop. So even when you get that job, when you get that internship position, you still network inside that same company. Because you don't want to be an internship forever, right? The goal is let us intern for 6 to 1 year. Oh yeah, let us come in as a full-time employee. If it does not work, you will be applying to other jobs, leveraging on that current internship experience that you are having. So it's very important that in as much as we are defining the ups of this, it's very important that you also know that there would be challenges and you have to be prepared for those challenges. I hope that makes sense to somebody on this call. And lastly on my slide, what I have lastly on my slide is you also need to now define your long-term goals. Because it is not just something you want to do one-off, right? You want to build a new career in that space. So you need to consider how this new career would align with your long-term goals. And you have to build a plan that allows you to achieve those goals. So if you come into a new business as a project manager, you want to become a senior project manager. You want to become the head of product management in an organization. So you see, the learning don't stop. You continue to learn, you continue to learn, you continue to network, you continue to build. When you eventually get those jobs, when you've transitioned, you will now start another phase of mentorship building. You need to seek out mentorship from experienced professionals in that field, and this would provide you with valuable guidance and insight into succeeding in the new career that you've chosen. When I came in as a child, the goal for me is to be the head of a business, the head of HR for a business. But that was not what I started off as. I started as an intern. Then from being an intern, I became an officer. Then from an officer, I became a senior officer. And now I'm working as an HR specialist. The goal for me is to become, and I'm telling you guys now, is to become the head HR of one of these big fours of an organization. That is my goal. And I've set targets for myself. And what I've done is for every stage of that goal, I have asked for help. I have sought mentorship. I have sought coaching. And lastly, guys, you need to weigh the risk and reward of your new career path before you venture. That you enjoy something might not translate into something that you would excel in. I enjoy singing. That does not make me a great musician. does not mean that if I put out an album now, I will blow. So you need to understand the risk and reward ratio of whatever career you're venturing into. Once you are able to define that, if the risk outweighs the reward, but if it is something you're passionate about, please go for it. As long as they align with your values and your long-term goals, you would excel. And I hope that by the end of that, of your goal alignment, you will be convinced. And guys, you don't have to do this by yourself. There are a lot of career coaches. Yewande is an incredible career coach. Guys, I'm not saying this because she's on this call or she's the one, she's the founder of this business. I'm saying this because I have benefited firsthand from her coaching. I cannot lie to you. There are decisions that I've made in my HR career that I have to thank Yewande for. There are jobs that have been, there are tasks that my organizations have given me that even me, I don't have clarity. I run to her. And she has been my coach. So thank you, Yewande, for this opportunity. And thank you for being an incredible coach to me. But what I'm saying in essence is we all need a coach in our lives. We all need mentorship in our lives. We need people that can guide us. So you don't have to do it alone, people. Find people in your field that can help you. Be polite when reaching out to them. Show them that you're passionate. Do your own research about that business. Sell yourself. Guys, sell yourself, please. And trust me, the sky is your starting point. So thank you guys for being a great sport. That is the end of my presentation. And we will now open the floor for questions. Please ask me questions or mute yourself and ask me questions. If you're not able to talk where you are, drop your questions for me in the mailbox. No, not in the mailbox. Drop your questions for me in the chat and I'll be more than happy to answer. Or if you have any input as well, we have the next 25 minutes to take questions. So you have the floor, guys.
Thank you so much, Ade. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Like it was worth every second. All you shared with us. Thank you so much. So of course, guys, please, if you have any question, please drop it in the chat box and we would do well to read it out so that Ade can attend to all of them. Or if you'd like to ask in person, you can unmute yourselves and ask. And I'd like to mention that at the end, the founder, in our generosity, is willing to give out one of our books for free. So stay till the end. So you might just be the lucky winner. So please, question time now. Please do ask your questions. Thank you so much. We'll be out.
Or if there's anybody here that is looking to transition as well, if you want to tell us about it and what you've done so far, I'll be happy to hear what you've done so far too. So please feel free, guys.
Okay, good evening, Popola. Thanks for the insightful class. I have a question.
Go on, Emmanuel. Go on.
Okay. Talking about the transition to HR, actually, like I will actually say that I studied human resource. So I started as an intern. So where I was interning, I worked there for 4 months. Then I was still looking for other offers. So I got another offer as an HR officer. So the intention that to the organization that I'll be the manager, which I'll be doing a lot of things. But it was something different. Because when I got the organization, I had just 4 months internship experience. So getting to the organization, I was transferred to a separate warehousing, like it was a warehousing and logistics. So I was just the HR admin officer there. So the line manager, my line manager was in the head office. So I had a lot of challenges there because there were a lot that was so new to me. And my HR manager believed that me coming from an intern role, that I ought to have known some of all these things I would actually need to excel in my new role. So the question I want to ask is that my HR manager wasn't really accessible, because there are some things that even when I asked him, he tell me that, but Emmanuel, you are an intern now, you ought to know this thing. So it was kind of challenging, but though I was still able to like cope, because I had some mentor that I reached out to. How do I go about this? How do I go? Because I needed to learn how to do payroll immediately, because I remember the first month I was the one that completed the payroll for the staff there. And these are what I don't actually have the experience before. So my question now is that in such a scenario whereby the line manager is not really accessible, somebody that you report to, you believe that the skills you need to excel in this role, you ought to have known this based on where you are coming from. So if it's not accessible, how can you actually try to overcome such scenarios? So that's my question.
Emmanuel, thank you for that question. And I'm going to answer it in two parts, right? And I'm going to first of all tell you that I think that you taking on that initiative yourself, it's incredible enough. And I'm also going to be very honest to say that I'm a little bit disappointed in the response of your line manager. However, remember when we talked about challenges, right? Those are part of the challenges that we would face. I'm a believer in teaching people. I don't believe in throwing people into the sea to dive by themselves, especially when they have little to no experience. I also understand the place of research, of asking somebody to do research, but at some point in our lives, we also need guidance. One thing I would say to you is, if I were in your shoes, is I would do my research, right? And I would make sure to take it to my line manager. I don't want to, I struggle when people say, I think I understand what you mean by it's not accessible. Is it that when you take it to him and say, oh, this is what I've worked on? Again, what I also would encourage you to do is, when you have the problem, please go with a solution as much as you know that you can solve. What I mean is that when you go to him with something that, oh, sir, this is what I'm working on. This is what I've done so far. This is what I believe the problem. This is what I think the solution is. Can you help me review? Can you guide me to let me know if I'm on track or there's something I need to work on? What you've done there is that you've not said that, Oga, this is my solution. Do whatever you want with it. You're saying, Oga, this is the solution that I've been able to come up with. Would this be the right solution? Because you cannot implement those things without his approval, right? Am I right, Emmanuel?
Yes, ma'am, you are right. You're right.
So when you go to him, you tell him, because and again, there's something that I always hammer on, especially in HR space. Documentation is very important, because if you're not careful, everything will fall back to you. So if Oga says that, go ahead with it, I will make sure that I put him in copy and say, based on our discussion and your approval, sir. But I know that sometimes these things can be very delicate and tricky. What I want you to also assess, Emmanuel, is that if you believe that you're not able to do great work there because of sort of environment and culture, it might be time for you to start exploring other positions and opportunities. Because if you're transitioning, I strongly believe that nobody can transition on their own. You need help, you need guidance, and you can only get this from people that are ready to help. Is it easier said than done? Absolutely. But again, it is part of the challenges that we will all face, or that we faced on this job in our transition phase. So again, my answer to you would be, give as much solution to the problems as much as you can. Make sure you go to him to say, this is what I've done so far, sir. Please, sir, can you help me to review this? If he continues to be dismissive, it might be time for you to start exploring somewhere else. because you would not thrive in that kind of environment. Because what is going to happen is you would keep questioning yourself. Unless you just want to say, you know what, I will do it anyways. I will do it regardless. And you can also do that. But I'm not going to come here and tell you and say that, oh, what your line manager is doing is the right thing to do. No, that is not the kind of HR. And again, because you're transitioning, Emmanuel, these are the core things that you also need to start saying to yourself that when I am able to go through this phase and I get my feet on the ground, I would make sure to bring up people that wants to become HR in a way where they don't have to struggle. Does that make sense, Emmanuel?
Yes, ma. Yes, ma. Thank you.
So please,
go on. Because what I'm saying is that when I was working as an intern, doing the recruitment process, like trying to onboard new openings staff, so I'm just like a support team. But assuming the new role now, like the key position, just Emmanuel will handle this. So I'm the one to do the recruitment process, giving feedback. So it was like a new challenge to me because where I was coming from, I only act as a support team to the HR team whenever this exercise is being carried out.
But as support team, Emmanuel, you should be able to have learned the basics of recruitment.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so when you take it to that new company, you will tell them those basics that you know, right? And they're supposed to guide you through other things because, again, except they don't have a policy. Every organization must have their own recruitment policies. So if you're moving from one organization to another, so let's say you were support there and all you were doing was just maybe calling candidates. And again, it boils down to how much you want to learn yourself. So don't just say that, oh, I was only supporting. No, you would dip yourself into the core of that work, Emmanuel. You will not do it because you are just supporting. You will do it as if your life depends on it. So you will be asking the HR man, and I'm telling you this for future references, that I will say, and it is something that I've done before. When I entered at a consulting firm, I didn't just tell them, when they will bring the name to me and say, these are the candidates that we shortlisted. Oh yeah, call them. I'll say, no. Why did you shortlist these candidates? What were the requirements? What did you look out for in those candidates? And I want to join the process of shortlisting those candidates. Don't just come and give me numbers and say, call them and book them for interviews. I also want to sit in that interview because I want to know the questions that you are asking. I want to know what the responses that you are looking out for. So you might need to do more in terms of research. And trust me, all you need to type on Google is recruitment process, and it will bring out for you, it will break everything down for you. You can also see it as your new manager believes that you're capable of doing it, and you can give it your best shot to prove to him that you can actually do it. Does that make sense, Emmanuel?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. It really makes sense.
Somebody put it here that Oladimeji said, thank you. Talked about a well-written cover letter someone wrote to you. Please, can you share it with us? Oladimeji, and there's something in HR called confidentiality. Unfortunately, I'm unable to share the person's cover letter. However, let me just tell you what the cover letter. So the heading, the subject of the email was the intern that your organization did not know that they needed. That was her title. And she started off by saying everything she had done, even though she was just a fresh graduate, the volunteering that she had done, and the reasons for those volunteering programs. And she also started her email by saying that she hopes that by the end of reading that email, I will be convinced that she's truly the intern that my organization needed. And I was convinced. So what I'm saying in essence is when you're writing your cover letter, it is an avenue for you to sell yourself. What are your strengths? Don't just say, I'm a great communicator. I'm a good writer. I love managing people. No. Guys, give examples, real life examples. Tell your story. Oladimeji, I'm sure you have your story. When I got my first HR job, I told my story. I told the managing director of the company that all I needed from him was to give me a 3-month opportunity. That if I don't impress him in 3 months, he can fire me. But I sold myself. I gave instances of where I've helped my friends to resolve difficult situations. Even though they were not related to HR, there were things that I've done that I told him I could transfer. When employees argue or have grievances, this is how I would resolve those issues. So all I'm saying is sell yourself, tell your story. Don't just go online and copy and type big English. I hope that helps you. Fumi said what's required to transitioning into it. Fumi, Google, your starting point is to Google it. I'm sure a lot will come up, but I think the basics of transitioning into HR is having people management skills. If you are the type that you don't like talking to people, or if somebody brings problem to you, you get angry easily, it might not be your career path. It might not be something you will excel in. So the basics of them all will be communicating, being a problem solver. I know that Yewande has, Oluwabumi, I'll get to you. I know Yewande has the mentorship group where you can always liaise with other people that are also looking to transition into HR. You guys can even form groups and do studies. Elizabeth said, I'm transitioning to human resource. I'm coming from medical laboratory scientist, but getting an intern role was not easy, but we still keeping going, work out there. Incredible, Elizabeth. Please keep going. Don't give up. Again, you need to ask yourself, why am I not getting opportunities? Are you tailoring your CV to fit that? As a laboratory scientist, what are the skills that you do on there that you can transfer into HR? Do you build on that when you're sending your cover letters to these companies? Do you put that in? Do you include those skills inside of your CV? Or if everything on your CV is laboratory scientist, I will struggle to talk to you because there is nothing you've shown. So if you tell me and say that, oh, this is what I've done, and this is how I think it relates to my role, the role I'm transitioning in, I'll be curious to want to talk to you. So you need to go back and check why. Why am I not getting any callbacks? Why am I not getting any internship role? Guys, it is not going to be easy. That's why I put it there that there will be rejections. So please don't give up. Please keep going. I like that you said that. It is not easy, I know for a fact. And I'm not here to sell you dreams. But you also need to do a self-assessment. Oluwabumi, you would like to ask a question verbally. Please go on.
Okay, good evening.
Hi.
So speaking about transitioning, it's something that I've conceived as an idea because just like you pointed out, there are lots of questions you need to ask yourself if you want to venture into transitioning. And fortunately, the path I want to transition into is actually HR, because I've also asked myself those questions you ask yourself when you decided to. And I see that we largely have similarities in the answers to those questions. So that is done for me as the first step. I know what I want. So then you talked about mentoring. Okay, you talked about Udemy. Like one of the steps you can take is to take courses, maybe for example on a platform like Udemy, which I've actually tested out. So, and I know that Udemy is one, because I've taken courses in Udemy, maybe not HR courses. So Udemy is one place that you can be overwhelmed with a lot of materials, a lot of content. So you need to know what you really want. One of the I won't call it regrets, but maybe ignorance that I fell for was I bought a course. I took it. When I was in the process of taking the course, I realized that it did not really address what I wanted. Okay, fine. I kept it moving. So in the case of me wanting to go into HR, so I don't want to make the same mistake by just picking a course. So that will now bring me to mentoring. And I'm so sorry, I have to be honest on this one. I realize that a lot of people, because I've also attended workshops, virtual workshops like this, a lot of people come to speak, to tell you all these fancy things, how you have to do this, how you have to network, how you have to get mentoring from people that have experience in that. But I know that 1 or 2 times or 3 times I've tried to shoot my shot on those people, and I see that there's like an invisible wall that they've put up. Apart from them coming to speak to you in a workshop like this or a seminar, you cannot really reach them. I don't know, maybe I don't know how to do it. I don't really know how to shoot my shot, but on this one I tried like 3 people, women in maybe like this kind of field or generally. Okay, I'll send them messages, and I don't want to come across as someone who just likes to. I don't want to be incessantly unreasonable. So so when I shoot that shot, I saw that nothing was coming. I just left it. So I said, okay, maybe I should do a paid coaching, like what Career Life does. Maybe I should. And fortunately, I met Yewande at an event last week Saturday. But so, and after then I saw her post on LinkedIn because I follow her a lot, and she said, if you're open to, if you want a career coach, something like that, I'll drop my email in the comments. Please reach out. So I did immediately, and that was like maybe 5 days ago. I sent an email like, okay, maybe I should just pay for this coaching. Don't let me be looking for free mentorship everywhere. So even though I've not gotten a response, I'm just hoping that I just want to confirm if that is a step in the right direction. Let me get a paid coaching so that I don't be like you're looking for free mentorship around, please. So that's like one of the things I have also done, because I have 7 years experience in accounting, credit control and cash collection, which is a part of accounting. But I really don't want to further in that anymore. Yeah. I want to transition, and I know that I like that HR thing. What I like to talk people's problems. I like to put smile on people's faces. I like to make people happy in a way.
Oluwabumi,
let
me just come in and say that you are doing everything right. And remember what you said, something that struck out for me. You said you've reached out to like 3 people, women. Why are you limiting it to women? There are thousands of HR professionals. See, Oluwabumi, I wish I can show you my LinkedIn from way back in 2019. A lot of people have still left me unread till today. I cannot blame them because I also don't know what they are dealing with. Everybody has their own car. If I tell you today and say that, oh yeah, let me be your mentor, I'll be checking on with you every day, I would be lying. So sometimes we need to also go away from free to paid. They are part of the sacrifices, right? So I'm so proud of you saying that. You said, you know what, let me pay. This is something I want to do long term. Even me that I'm still in this HR, my sister, I am still paying for paid coaching. If Yewande tells me today that she's doing a coaching and it's paid, trust me, I'm a #1 customer.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, so I think she's having network issues because I don't see on the call anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to add, right? I know 2 questions were raised. Firstly, the first guy that asked the question, I'm just doing it till she comes back. So when she comes back, I think I'll just pause. I think she's back. I wanted to say that at the end, but like 2 questions were raised. The first one was on a guy that is trying to. Okay, Bimbo is back.
Sorry, okay. My network went off for a minute. Apologies. maybe Yewande wants to help me to answer that question. But basically what I was just telling Oluwabumi is, see, sometimes we have to pay. If that is what will bring you closer to that goal, please pay. As long as if you also need to know that you're getting value from it. Oluwabumi, you would send message to plenty people. I promise you one person will respond. But don't limit yourself to just women. See, and again, you also need to understand your target market. Because you see those head of HR, or those head of clinical, or those group managing clinical, it might be hard to get them to mentor you. But you see, look for people that are maybe like they are officers. They have like 3 years experience, 4 years experience. They might even want to take you on board. Let me give you an example. When 2 years ago, 2022, yeah, that was around May. Somebody reached out to me on LinkedIn. And I was like, mentor care. What have I learned that I want to mentor? But I was proud that she reached out to me. And I connected with her. And now she's an officer in another organization. And I check in on her once in a while. So you will see people like that. I cannot tell you the amount of group of head of HR, of people, of companies that I've reached out to, that they've not even read my message today, or they read it and they did not reply to me. I would never hold grudges on them because their life must be very, very busy. So Oluwabumi, please don't give up. If you have to pay for the paid one and you can afford it, please go on and do it. You would benefit from it, especially if you're doing it to Yewande. I'm telling you with my full chest, you will get your value. Yewande, sorry, do you want to chime in?
Advert is too much. Anyway, let me just answer her question. I wanted to answer the guys on first and then I won't. I think you raised a very valid point. I think Big Bear has even answered the question, right, in terms of not really looking at the really big people who are busy. If I open my LinkedIn message for you, at a point, I tell you who testify. On my birthday, I had to get a volunteer to help me respond to my messages on LinkedIn. Is that bad? Right? Because I can tell you that day I got I'm not exaggerating, I got over 900 or 1,000 messages. Wow. And that is just, yeah. Temika, I think it was somebody I gave my password temporarily. These messages are a lot. So because I write a lot, but that's just on birthdays, right? But on random days, I get an average of 7 messages a day, an average from people. And that is just me. I'm not even 1/10 as big as people like YF, as TDA. As I say, I'm not 1/10, but I'm not trying to be humble. It's the reality. So you'll not be looking at YF speaking, you'll be saying, I want YF to mentor me. If small me, I'm getting an average of 5 a day. YF will be getting 50 a day, right? And then you think it's not like he wants to mentor you, but me that I know YF gone. Before you answer my message, it will take time. Anyway, to answer your question, I think you need to work with the people who are accessible, which is peer mentoring. Peer mentorship is one of the best things you can go for, right? Peer to peer. So you want to move into HR, an HR officer, like Bimbe has said, someone who is not known. There's some people who they're shy, public speaking shy, social media shy, but these people are very competent and really smart. And so you can just randomly search for HR officers, HR managers, look to their profile and say, this person has probably moved and this person in that space. And this person can actually mentor me, right? So that's one suggestion. Then you said you sent me a message. I don't think I saw it, honestly. I don't even think, because only one person has sent me. I checked it out early and I think I responded. I'm like, I didn't see it. Maybe it went to my spam or maybe it's another email. But anyway, and in terms of that transitioning part, which you also said that doing some of the courses and you not finding it relevant. Honestly, when it gets to transitioning, okay, I think I want to say something about transitioning. But let me just pause here. Then I want to answer the first guy's question. My hands were up. I tried not to forget his question. He said that he was working as an intern before. If you're still on this call. Sorry, first, are you on the call first? So I'm not wasting my saliva. Respond to somebody that is not on the call. The person I asked the first question on intern.
I'm on the call.
Okay, no problem. He was an intern and he moved to a role where he's doing more like a generalist. And his boss is not accessible, and someone needs support on the role, but he's not getting it because the organization expects him to know everything, right? I just want to be sure I got your question.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. This scenario just reminds me of me a few years ago. Now, I want to start with the foundation of a business. A business is a profit venture, right? When businesses hire people, it's an investment. So they pay you for your skill, right? And they expect an ROI. So it's basically that's what it's all about. I'm not trying to negate it, but and so you need to first get that expectation that people have to help you. When you have that expectation, it kills a lot of how you can be resilient as a person. I'm not trying to sound harsh. I'm just letting you know the reality of business. Now I work as I always tell my team members that if I decide to shield you and manage some of these things, my boss will not expect less from me. So as a senior HR professional, it's very difficult for me to hire somebody who is not up to speed because the same amount of pressure. So there was one time I was like, oh yeah, we're not missing out to the recruitment timeline because there's so many roles and the person that just joined is still catching up to speed and is not as competent as the person who I tried to replace. One thing my boss had to say one day, when you were hiring this role, did I help you hire? I said, no, it's none of my business. That's what he told me. At that moment, I felt like, oh, if my team member, if I went to go and hire, and I didn't hire a fresh graduate, I had somebody who was not as senior as the person that left the role, just because, the world is not perfect. I had to make up and do more for it. So to start with, I've been in your position before. I moved from an HR intern role, if you look at my profile, to an HR officer role, to a one-man business, a very toxic one as that. As in, that is the business that made me as resilient as I am. The toxic manager will look at me and you're telling colleagues, let's say Mr. A, he insults people to show you how toxic. If he opens the door, everybody's heart begins to beat. And so I knew that, he was running a business. I didn't have a chance to say that, oh, I wasn't as sharp enough. And I just, how many years experience I have in HR? I moved from a journey to HR. I had 1 year, 3 months in a consulting firm. So it's not like I had, it's just vibes and inshallah that I had sense. I started doing CIPM, I started doing courses, but I was not the only HR with a 54-year-old man, right? Take note, I'm a woman. No. Let's not look at the fact the way they look at women, that women don't have sense in Nigeria. But what did I do? Is that I took the bittersweet that, see, the world is a difficult place. Nobody owes me anything. I don't need help. Like, I need help, but you don't expect people to help you because you are being paid for it. You are hired as an officer. So they hired me as an officer, not as an intern. What I did is I had to go and look for help. I didn't say, oh, my boss is not accessible. Yeah. Your boss should be accessible. The world should be perfect. People should not come and rob you in Nigeria, but they do. Unfortunately, the dollar should not be this high, but it is, right? The Nigeria is difficult, unfortunately. So I just wanted to give you that bitter, swallow that bitter stuff. So it makes you know that last, I'll be all right. I need to find a way. That kind of hustler mentality is what you need to have in HR. For me, when I even look to hire HR people, I look for that hustler mentality. The person I hired that I told you wasn't as strong as the other person. The reason why I hired him, I knew this person was not strong. I knew this person was going to give me was not. But I said that why I just took that decision was this person was a hustler. I could see that even if I don't know it, actually I'm a rough any. We rough it, let me speak English. So the roughing it is not expecting to know it all because you cannot know it all in nature. I don't even know anything. I keep saying I don't know much in HR as much as people think I do because I know that there's still a lot for me to know. But I leverage on external support, right? If you don't have it internally, what is the hustler mentality? You go and look for it outside. Employment is not like marriage that looking outside is wrong. So I had like 2 people who I used to work with in the place I left. Jide, I had him on speed dial. He knows me. He calls me my protege, right? Because I'd been humble to him. I didn't think like, oh, I had sense. So I said, Jide, this place I've entered. Toxic is an understatement. So he said, don't worry, man. If I see your call any day, any time, I will pick. My boss would give me work like this. I went to the toilet. Jide, help, come and help me. That's it. That's how I manage. So the support you think that the internal person cannot give you, go and look for it externally. If you have friends, you don't have to look for somebody big. If you call me at any time, I will not pick because I'm always in meetings. So even if you know me as a friend, like some of my friends, 9 to 5, I'm not always accessible. Maybe after 5 I am. But look for somebody that is accessible in HR, that can pick your call any time of the day and can support you, right? Me, if you call me, I probably would send you a message and say, okay, I'll answer you when I'm free. But please find external support. HR people belong to groups. HR groups is the one that also made me who I am. All these people are proud, they are keeping silent in HR groups. You cannot be silent. If you can join one or two, I the shame. You cannot be scared if your job is attached to it. Ask people questions, even if it is stupid. Let people laugh at you and they will correct you that, Shebi, you should know it. Hey, I don't know it. Guys, please help me. I was always asking people. And from there, I made friends. People went enter my DM, answer me. I'll save their number. I'll become friends with them. The day they need me, I will show up for them. So it's like a mutually exclusive stuff. When it gets to networking, people also think that, they don't have anything. You must go and meet one big person. Nah. You really don't have to think that you know it, or even people that you think know it. They're going through life on their own, and they don't really know it all. Like I said, I still think I don't even know up to even 50 or 60% in HR, to be honest. All right. And it's all sense of humility, because I learn every day. My former CEO had to teach me how to do something on Google Form that I've been using for 5 years. My CEO that taught me something. So that's how open to learning you should be. So that's to answer your question, Emmanuel. That thing, just look at it that you are in Tinubu's Nigeria. Just look at that company and you need to survive. I don't know if you're in Nigeria suffering with all of us in this country. But you can't run away from Nigeria if you don't have the money or if you don't have the job yet. So just try to be a hustler and find help. Career Life community is there. Go to the group. Don't enter my DM. I'm not trying to say I'm not a reliable person all the time. I can be, but sometimes I'm also going through a lot of pressure. I have the pressure I'm going through is a lot. Beyond Career Life, I also have other things I'm doing, a family, and my company is over 200. So you can imagine how my 24 hours is. So to be honest, leverage on Career Life, that's why it was created, so as to support people. And when I'm free, in the middle of the night, it's just not say I contribute when I have the time. I'm a night person, right? Even my mentor, sometimes it's 11:30, she used to say, let's schedule our call to show you that she's even really, really busy and she's a way bigger person anyway. And I've answered your question, Emmanuel. Has it been helpful?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. It will really be helpful, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, and to finalize in terms of career transitioning, I had some points in my head. There are 2 types of career transitioning, right? There's the one for fresh starters and there's the one for experienced ones. If I tell you my own experience, you may not relate to it because my own transition was as a fresh person. I wasn't experienced in HR. I finished from school engineering. I dabbled into so many things, but my dabbling was not more than a year. So I started from the beginning in HR. I had not had 5 years experience in engineering or accounting like this lady has had. So my experience may not be relatable for you. But let me for those that are in the first stage, some of the things that will be helpful for you, I think it's also helpful for experiences, paying the price on learning, the theory part of it. And second thing is, starting from the barest minimum and willing to take a pay cut, right? And the resilience in actually looking for a job. They say getting a job is a job, actually. It's really stressful, even for people like me, and even people who are experienced. But for the experienced part, right, you work 5 years, 2 years, 3 years, you are already any 500K or any 700K or any 300K, and you want to transition. Now, one thing, sorry, hold on. Okay, so one thing you need to know is the business landscape. Business is looking to make profits. Let's just look at it. It's not a charity. So when people say that, people should take a chance on me, I'm not willing to be mean, but hey, people are, unless a business does not have money. So I'm looking to hire an HR person in my team. My boss did not give me a budget. He didn't say you can't hire someone at 50K or something. He says find somebody that you need help and set the budget yourself. Obviously, as somebody that is facing pressure every day from 2 bosses, and he didn't give me a budget, I decided my budget and I said, okay, I want somebody who's experienced. A normal person will want somebody who's experienced so that the person doesn't have to do too much work. So, and that's because it's business. So if you have the mindset that the business in itself is for profit and it's not all going to be rosy, it helps you manage your expectation even when transitioning. Having said that, what are some of the things to still break into it? Because lots of people are broken into it. Is apart from resilience, is also leveraging. I think the biggest key is relationships. I can come and tell you that, oh, do courses. Yeah, do courses. 100% you need to do courses. But don't think that the course you have done is an automatic ticket to unemployment. I see people who have done product courses or tech, and they say, I've done a product course, I invested 200K, but now they've not given me job. The company that I'm like, nah, a course does not, it's not an access to a job. It just gives you the foundation and the leverage. So if 1,000 people are looking to move into product management and 500 of them have not done any form of training in product management, of course, those people have lesser advantage than you that has done a course. So yes, look for things to give you advantage over the others, because take note, as amazing as you are, there are also other thousands of amazing professionals looking for a job. And that's how I see it. I don't see myself as someone that is indispensable or people are not as good as I am. As good as I am, there are thousands of Yewandes who may not be a Yewande, but can do my job in so many ways, right? So once you've gotten that course, that certification, that exposure, blah, blah, blah. Second thing is, what other edge do you want to give yourself? Because the competition is stiff. If you want to become a product manager, you don't want to start from the beginning. People who have even paid the price, in this our HR space, so do you know how many HR people are looking for jobs? People who have experience. So now those people that now do not have HR experience, they have accounting experience. You now want to move into HR. Not to break your bubble, the second thing you can leverage on is relationship. If I'm looking for an HR person, right? Obviously, I'll pick the person who has experience. It's selfish of me. But what will make me pick somebody who does not have HR experience is because I have had a form of relationship with this person, and it's giving me the form of green light that I can take a chance on this person. So it is in a space where the fishes are not enough that you go and eat meat. For example, you don't like meat, you want to eat fish. Fish is just doing you. And you now go. It is when you now go to 3 shops and you don't see fish, you now say, okay, let me go for meat, right? It is the relationship. And how can you build that network or building that relationship? It's not automatic. It is an investment. You know, they say your network is your net worth. To get network, to get money, which is people, it's investment in your time, in your energy, and also in it's like mutually exclusive relationship. It's not being a leech. Because if you think that getting a mentor is the person helping you and you're not adding value, then it's something. But when people think of adding value, they think of maybe something big. Nah, adding value is not like maybe you need to buy or give money. Right? Because even that person that wants to be there for you, the person is probably not a broke person in the first place, right? It is, so some of the effort you can make is the groups that you are in. And people don't know, people don't know the gems in WhatsApp groups. If I tell you the people that I have grown to meet from groups, the relationships I have built from groups, how they have added value to me from WhatsApp groups, you will not imagine that have been my customers that I've hired. I've given them jobs, I've given them gigs from WhatsApp groups. And it was not them checking and say, they said something, or you just scroll in the middle of dinner. Okay, what are these people saying? Then you read, you learn, you don't add value. People are asking questions, you just keep quiet. Read other people's comments. You don't say anything because you are shy, but you want the world to come to your lap and give you a job, and you think people are selfish. Are you generous with the small knowledge you think you don't have, but you do have an answer to that person's question? For me, when someone introduced me to one, I started joining so many HR groups. And one thing I ensure I do, even till now that I am busy, at least once in a while, I try to talk. Beyond is busy. No, even sometimes Temi finds it very difficult to get me. I try to talk, even if it is 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock that I check my phone. I try to talk. You know why? Because, okay, my first speaking engagement, let's even start. I was, talking, and then I said I wanted to start speaking. My first speaking engagement, I think, was, Get Jobs. And Engineer Dele, the man has invested a lot in Career Life. If you've attended Career Life event and you have been drinking Coke, he brings it all the time with his money. And he's done so many things. It was, he added me to one group, maybe because we were in one group together, I didn't know it existed. Somebody would just ask random questions. Me, how many things did I know in HR? Maybe I had just 1 year or 2 years in HR. But I felt like I could answer the person. So I just answer. Another person will ask, I answer. I told my team, are you an HR person? I said, well, yes. Those days you'll be scared of calling yourself a professional so that your guys will not come and be saying you are faking it, you make it, right? And I said, yes. And then he now said, I have another group. Can I add you? I said, sure. And so people ask, I just contributed. I just had the giving spirit. So in you saying, I want to build a network, it starts from you giving. And giving is not money. Giving is not entering their DM and not only crafting nice messages. It's even in these small ones that you think are not valuable, the groups that you think that all of them are low life, that they don't have anything to give because it's a job board. It is in that small group that somebody will say, there's that person or that, even if the person is an accountant, he always answers questions or tries to engage or something. And that's how it just happened. And from there, he added me to other groups and he has started, so he has started giving me a lot of, and I've met a lot of people through him. Right. So the people that I may want to have entered their DM and shot my shots with, and I had the opportunity to sit on the same table with them and shake their hands. So for you who is experienced, right, and you now want to transition, I know somebody who has worked in customer care for 6 years. She was in my church and she moved into HR. I'm sure you know her. She's now even running a very big, NGO. Ajuwaya, if you know her, Kenny. One thing I admired about Kenny is she was very, and she's even someone that has done transitioning. She transitioned and she had 6 years in customer experience. What am I even saying? She moved into, I think it was Shegun Akiode's company. And how did she even know? This is from joining HRLC. She was always contributing in groups. And I'm like, Kenny, are you in HR? Even me, I was in HR. She was not as at that time. But the small Udemy she did in that small HR that people felt like they didn't know enough, she was giving. And so somebody now saw and said, why don't you just come and join me on this? That's how you build network. That's how people know you. How did I meet Temi? How did we get close? How did she even get a current job? It is from doing what she was doing that somebody saw her and said, people like to steal my people. And I'm like, they are here for stealing. You can't work with me for up to three months and someone will not steal you unless you have bad character. Because if you are giving, people will want to, that's how it goes. It's a cycle. So just find a way, even if it is your church, it's your mosque, that job you are looking for, even if it is your estate, your teenagers group, you will be surprised or something. And you are just saying that small thing I have in accounting or whatever. That's just how it works. So I think that's the biggest secret to career transitioning. Bimpe now, I admire her a lot, how she was able to move from law to HR and the way she's been able to even grow in her HR part, like the kind of knowledge in HR she's grown into. I see her in groups that we belong to. And Big Ben is responding to people. You will know somebody that likes to give. She's responding to people. And I'm sure she's met people from other groups. So not only Career Life and all that, this thing, please start to build relationships. Not only LinkedIn, yes. You meet people, I've entered people's DM, maybe 50% didn't respond to me or 70% didn't respond to me, 30% did. And from there, I've gone to build a relationship. Yeah, people may not respond all the time, but few would. And those that would try to just, first thing is, don't just go and say, be my mentor, because mentorship seems like a burden. I don't know about other people, but it seems like that. But just try to ask positive. For that lady that asked about, she's entering people's DM and has crafted nice message, a hack I would say is ask a real question that you think that person can answer, not something that maybe can be gotten off Google, that what is performance management. If you go to my DM and ask most performance management, the probability that answer is very low. I will probably may not answer it because I'm like, where do I start from? Do you even think I know performance management? That's what I would say. Yes, I know, but I'm like, that's a lot. But you can ask that, how do you implement this in this, based on this? A real situational question. I'll be like, okay, this person is probably going through this and doesn't understand this. And because I have been through that, I can help you understand that. Those are the kind of questions you can ask people that builds that relationship. And so if I answer you that and you're like, okay, nice. I don't understand. can I explain more? Me, sometimes I'll start sending you voice notes on LinkedIn a lot of times because I hate typing. As I explain further, if you still don't understand, sometimes I even drop my phone number down. Okay, call me after work hours, anything from 6 p.m., right? And I can explain further. And then they save my number and randomly they just give me updates and say, oh yeah, I was able to implement it. And they become my friend. I've lucky become their mentor. And they just come to me because Jide has helped me that time. I try to help people, but trust me, I'm Max. Maybe Bingpe may not be Max, but so many other HR people are willing to help. We're starting like a mentorship stuff, and you don't know how many HR people are volunteering. They really want to help people. It's just that they don't know how to, and that's why Career Life is set up. I think I've said a lot, but thank you very much for your time.
You've said more than enough, and I really hope people took that note on everything you said, because you will not get this anywhere else. She couldn't have said it any better, guys. Hello. Is Temilolu on the call?
Thank you so much.
Great.
Yes, I'm still. Thank you so much, YJ, for your input and contribution. Actually, yeah, you said a lot, and very useful and resourceful insights you gave us. Thank you so much, YJ. And thank you, of course, Adebimpe, for doing this with us. Thank you for answering everyone's questions and giving them more insights, as in adding to their knowledge, giving us from your own wealth of experience, and setting them on the right track. I mean, someone even dropped an accolade for you in the chat room. Thank you very much. So to everyone on this call, please, with your emojis and the reaction, please, can we all appreciate Popola, Adebimpe Popola, to say thank you. Yes, of course, you can connect with her on LinkedIn. Her name is just Adebimpe Popola on LinkedIn, just like that. Yes, thank you so much. Please, let's do more. Let's send in our emojis to appreciate her. Yes, Adebimpe Popola. Thank you so much. And of course, thank you to YJ, and thank you to everyone who joined us on this call. As I said when we started this session, this is a program facilitated by Career Life Nigeria, and we do this every month. So please be on the lookout for us. If you're not a community member yet, if you joined from our online platform or you're not a community member, I'll drop the link to join our community in the chat room, so you can fill our biodata form and you get an email to join us. And yes, to the last part of this program, I'm going to ask a question, and you might just be the lucky winner to win YJ's book. People have dropped a lot of reviews about the book. I have a copy of the book, and I told you this is a book you would always go back to, no matter the level you are in your professional journey. Entry level, mid-level, or even as a senior professional, you need a copy of the career handbook. So the question I'm going to ask, very simple, right? Very simple. When Ade started her presentation, what was the first key she mentioned when she was still sharing a slide about transitioning your career? She mentioned something. So fastest fingers, if anyone knows, you can just drop it in the chat room. I would be reading the comments. And not exactly passion. Passion is like under the first thing she mentioned. So she gave us the first step to transitioning your career, right? And underneath that was like the slide add passion. Ade, I'm right. And not being a people's person. Ade being clear, please help me out here.
So I didn't get your question. What was your question?
Okay, so I said when you started presenting and you shared your screen, right? The first step as shown screen to transitioning is what I'm asking them to get.
Oh,
to answer the
okay.
question. What was it? So I'm telling them that this is not it.
Are we giving?
And I need you to back me up to say I'm right, because I know I'm right.
Yes.
Because this session is streamed live on YouTube, so I had to go. I'm right. Okay, thank you. So it's still not it.
Absolutely.
This,
So if you're talking about the slide, Oluwabusola is correct. The first thing I said was personal growth in identifying your motivators.
Exactly. I got
it.
I'm super excited.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so what I think we can do is I'm really appreciative that even everybody made attempts. Father, yes, I will share the slide and I think response I would pay for the books to be delivered to each one of you. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people. So yes, so I will pay for 9 of the books for it to be delivered to them. I'm happy to do that.
Wow, thank you so much.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But so that I don't miss this one, I'd like to just put the names down. Okay.
Yeah, so just write down the name. So it was Fumi Uyi, Ayobami Adenu, Victoria Alabi, Mata Paul, Oluwabumi Ekeleni, and so every one of you will be getting. Every one of you will be. I think.
Yes, I have Fumi Uyi, Master Paul, Victoria Alabi, Oluwabumi Ekeleni. Did I miss? I guess I missed some people. Sorry. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Adebimpe, for your kind.
That's fine. That's
good. And of course, thank you once again for
I have the books. I gave the books to all of my colleagues.
Oh.
I did not miss Stanley. I mentioned everybody's name. I think we were 10 people, right? Career Life is sponsoring one book, so I'll just sponsor 9 people. So,
yes.
So how many names do you have, Temilolua?
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
No, you're supposed to have 9. Abi?
I am Fumi Uyi. I have Iga Elizabeth.
Mm-hmm.
I have Mata Paul.
Mm-hmm.
I have Victoria Labi. I have Oluwabumi Ekeleni. And I have Ayobami Adenusi.
Wow. What of Oluwabusola? Stanley. What about Stanley?
Okay, Oluwabusola.
Then Stanley, Abi.
Oluwabusola
Olunuga.
Yes. What about Stanley? Do you have Stanley?
Yes, I have Stanley.
Okay, yeah. So how many people is that?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 persons. Though we have some of them that responded twice, right? So I guess that's mixed.
Okay, that's fine.
So I'll reach out to all of you via mail. But some of you in our community, I know some people on this list that are community members on our WhatsApp group and Telegram, right? But there are some I do not know. But through your registration, I would reach out to you via mail. Thank you so much. Thank you once again.
I just want to ask, why all of you stay in Lagos? Because the delivery is going to be, I know you want to pay Bimpe, but the party is going to be a lot of wahala. If somebody is seated in Anambra, so like,
okay, do we have anyone?
Sure, we don't have soft copy. Sure, we don't have soft copy.
I've not launched the soft yet. It's still hard.
Please confirm that you're staying in Lagos, please. Please confirm you're staying in Lagos.
He does stays in Port Harcourt.
Oh.
This Port Harcourt is going to be a lot of work. It can be.
Okay.
What can happen? You know what? The book is available on Roving Heights. Maybe let have, and I think Roving Heights is in Port Harcourt. So I think maybe
We'll walk around, don't worry. So maybe you purchase it directly in Port Harcourt. Or like, it's in bookshops that will look for a bookshop around you that you can buy
Okay.
from. For Lagos, you
Okay.
can buy.
Okay. All right. That's
Well,
fine.
you can one. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for having me, and I hope you all have a great weekend. Bye, everyone.
Yes, we will. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. I dropped the link to join our community in the chat room, and I'm dropping it again so that you can join us. Thank you so much, YJ. Thank you to Adebimpe, and thank you to Temilua.
Bye.
All right.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Yeah, bye.